Gotta spend money to make money is Denver's new motto. Bold move as the city faces a serious deficit. Colorado's governor finds fresh agreement with the Trump administration over a cold soda and their belief on who should be allowed to drink it. As Republicans look to gerrymander Democrats out of seats in Congress, Colorado can't play that game. Stupid laws and ethics and stuff.
I don't think we should be drawing maps in order to dictate the outcome.
And the heart of a new neighborhood is a welcome mat of sorts.
It's for everybody. It's not just for one type of person.
You know what? That's kind of like next. Hey there, it's good to be back. Missed our conversations about what's happening in Colorado. What's happening in Denver right now is that the city is trying to revive downtown by spending huge amounts of money on a series of projects. Our Mark Salinger takes a look.
The headlines in Denver lately are enough to give you whiplash. Talk of layoffs and budget cuts one day, yet massive spending and investments the next.
The city is facing challenging economic times, as most large cities are around the country. One of the reasons we're seeing that is a decline in sales tax revenue.
To understand why the mayor thinks we need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to get us out of a $250 million deficit, you need to understand one of the reasons why the mayor thinks we got into this situation in the first place.
People are spending less and going out less.
So the city will spend to try and get people to spend again too. $175 million on the 16th Street Mall, $100 million on downtown revitalization, $70 million for a new soccer stadium. The money all comes from different places, but the list goes on.
You do have to invest in the growth that's going to drive more economic development to help restore that revenue. And so this is why we think it's important to not stand still in these moments. We do need to keep investing and keep growing.
The day after announcing that layoffs for city employees will begin later this month, the mayor stood at a press conference last week to announce $100 million worth of spending to bring people back downtown. The money comes from a fund totally separate from the city's general fund that's $250 million in the hole.
It's dollars that come from the taxes that are generated by the commercial activity that was built at Union Station.
This money has to go towards downtown development, and it will. Still, city employees will lose their jobs in 2 weeks. The bet is that these investments will stop more people from losing theirs in the future.
What this can do is help us drive up that sales tax revenue to make sure the city recovers strongly in the years ahead.
So the question now becomes how the layoffs that will start 2 weeks from today will impact the city's ability to sustain these investment projects. While we don't yet know how many people will lose their jobs or in which departments, it's fair to ask whether any of the impacted positions will also impact how fast these construction projects and investment projects can be completed, Kyle.
At any level of government, Mark, when there are cutbacks happening, people will either point to spending that they personally disagree with and say, well, what about that? Or they'll point to new projects like these and say, how can you spend money on something new and cut over here?
And the city has spent a lot of money over the last couple of years. Look at the migrant crisis, which they didn't get as much money back from the federal government as they thought. They also spent a ton of money on the Mayor Johnston's homelessness program. We don't even know exactly how many millions of dollars they spent on that. But you asked him a couple of days ago when you last spoke with him at his 2-year mark, does he regret spending these large sums of money? And the answer was no.
Answer was no, and no hesitation. All right, Mark Salinger, thanks for that. Thanks for filling in while I was gone.
Welcome back.
So those downtown projects are funded by previously earmarked taxes. Tonight, Denver City Council considers whether to spend nearly $1 billion on a bond package to voters in November. This would be a $1 billion bond. It would replace existing expired borrowing, so it would not raise taxes beyond where they are now. $950 million bond package would fund transportation and infrastructure projects in Denver, along with improvements to city facilities, community spaces, parks, housing projects. A lot of the spending items have been questioned by City Council and by community leaders. Take the project to remove part of the 8th Avenue Viaduct and convert it to a surface-level street through the old Burnham Yard rail yard area. That's the spot where the Broncos are reportedly planning a new stadium. City Council is likely to break this down into separate categories of bond funding, so voters in Denver in November are likely to be able to pick and choose what they want to support. Democratic Governor Jared Polis is once again finding common ground with the Trump administration, making sure that poor kids don't buy soda with food benefits. Yes, he is a self-proclaimed libertarian, and the Republican administration preaches against government meddling in people's lives, but man, there is something about a low-income kid cracking open a Pepsi bought with Snap that just steams their beans. Polis-backed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for health secretary. And today, Colorado and a bunch of Republican states got federal go-ahead to ban families from using SNAP benefits to buy soda and sugary beverages. Governor's office says this is a health issue and that this will force stores in low-income neighborhoods to stock less soda in favor of better-for-you drinks. Milk and 100% juice drinks will be exempt from the ban. Colorado's the only Democrat-led state that's slapping taxpayer-funded sodas out of the hands of kids this year. Joins today's waiver requests from Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, and Louisiana. President Trump is ordering Republican states to gerrymander congressional districts to eliminate Democratic seats and to preserve his Republican majorities in Congress, a rare mid-decade redistricting as a naked political power grab. Democratic governors in New York and California are exploring the same idea for the blue team if the red states do it. Now, Colorado could help boost Dems' numbers, except for a law designed to preserve bygone notions like ethics and fairness. Our Marshall Zellinger explains.
Yeah, I looked. Yes, it's still there. It's still there.
Right there in black and white, or rather yellow and blue outline, the Colorado Supreme Court explained in 2003 why Colorado cannot redraw congressional district maps mid-decade.
The second sentence of Article 5, Section 44 of the Colorado Constitution says when Colorado may redistrict. The state legislature can only redistrict congressional maps after the census, which only takes place once a decade.
Constitutional law attorney Christopher Jackson explained redistricting takes place the year after the census, like 2021, 2031, 2041. And the Colorado Supreme Court was clear. The Constitution restricts the legislature from redistricting at any time.
Neither California nor Texas have a provision of state law that prevents the legislature from redistricting in the middle of the decade.
But Colorado's legislature does not draw the maps anymore.
Normally, when people gerrymander, they pretend like there's something else going on.
State lawmakers, including former Democratic Senate President Steve Fenberg, they referred amendments Y and Z to the ballot in 2018, and voters approved independent commissions to redraw congressional and state legislative maps.
We referred this to the voters. And Colorado was in a slightly different political place. I was actually in the minority.
Democrats now control the state, but Colorado's congressional makeup is 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans. So blue state Colorado could have reason to try to respond to red state Texas, which is trying to redraw its district boundaries to benefit Republicans in 2026.
I don't think we should be drawing maps in order to dictate the outcome.
For Colorado to consider doing the same, voters would have to pass another constitutional amendment to allow mid-decade map drawing.
Given the stakes and what is happening, I think somebody should. I don't think Colorado is in a position to do that.
Even if Colorado Democrats wanted to try to make Colorado more blue in Congress, the timing's really not there. It would require a voter-approved constitutional amendment, and if it got enough approval from voters, the timing of picking a new independent commission, having months of public meetings, debating the maps, that'd take at least 6 months or more, and by then we're beyond 2026, Kyle.
I mean, the fact is, Marshall, the state's House map is very friendly to Republicans, right? The delegation is 4 and 4, and Colorado's not an evenly divided political state. It hasn't been in a long time. I don't get the sense any Colorado Democrats are knocking down the door to pull a California or a New York and try to extend a blue wave.
I think it's the cost of doing so, and perhaps the political cost of doing something that might be unpopular with voters. It just takes a lot of money. To get something on the ballot, unless it's referred by the voter or by the legislature, you have to get someone like Kent Thiry, who put amendments Y and Z on the ballot in the first place, and I reached out to a spokesman for him to see if he's willing to spend gobs of money on this, and he gave me a two-sided answer of like, I don't like gerrymandering, but if we need to do it to respond to this side, why not?
That sounds to me like somebody's opening the wallet and going, all right, Marshall Zellinger, thank you. So, you know those old Uncle Sam wants you recruiting posters? Right now, he is pointing at government retirees, and Uncle Sam is not just jabbing the finger, he is actually reaching out to ask people if they want to come out of retirement and help with mass deportations of immigrants. I sent recruiting emails to retired federal employees asking them to return to the mission by assisting with deportations. The Trump administration wants to hire 10,000 new immigration enforcement officers to meet the president's goal of deporting 1 million people a year. Congress set aside $10 billion for ICE to hire new agents last month. ICE is currently focused on bringing back former employees, offering them a $50,000 signing bonus and allowing them to keep their retirement benefits while they return to work. Your word of thanks microgiving turns into real good, real measurable impact in the lives of other Coloradans every single week. Last week's microgiving campaign is providing a nearly $45,000 boost to the nonprofit Packs of Hope. It's an all-volunteer group that provides backpacks with essential items to young people as they go into foster care. There's not going to be some giant check presentation from us to them or other backpatting going on, because we're already on to the next cause that we can support together on Wednesday as we continue the $15 million force for good that you have created in our state. Keep sending me ideas of nonprofits that you see making an impact anywhere in Colorado. Email next@9news.com or text next 303-871-1491. The state denied that one of Colorado's imported wolves killed a calf until ranchers got an admission on tape.
They were under orders. They could not confirm a wolf kill.
And a new park in Douglas County is making space for everyone. Truly, everyone. That's next. Colorado's new gray wolves have some expensive tastes. Last year, the state paid ranchers more than $400,000 to settle claims over attacks on livestock. Getting those payments to ranchers is easier said than done. Ranchers up in Routt County say they were denied for months after they found a dead calf on their land, took a secret recording to get the state to pay up. Marilee Ellis and Mike Nealis say they found a dead, half-eaten calf on their property back in mid-April, just hours after a CPW employee tipped them off that a wolf was nearby. They reported it as a wolf kill. They went through the process, but Parks and Wildlife disagreed. A CPW investigator originally called the death inconclusive, said, well, maybe the calf died of high-altitude disease, then got half-eaten by a wolf. But on a recorded phone call, the investigator said he felt pressured to make that determination.
Where I think I'm at, Mike, which is, I don't like it, you're not going to like it, is that everybody's telling me I have to call it inconclusive. And if I don't call it inconclusive, they're going to argue with me.
It was very emotional. I thought, this is explosive, because they've just told us completely opposite what their investigator has told us.
After learning about that recording, CPW settled the dispute, labeled it a wolf kill, and paid for the loss. Our Aaron Adelson sat down with CPW's commissioner, Jeff Davis, who could not explain the discrepancies in that investigation, but said his office is looking into it.
Are you putting pressure on people not to label things?
Not at all. I know there's a lot of speculation about, is it coming from the governor? Is it coming from Executive Director Gibbs or myself? And that is just not factual. It definitely presented new circumstances into our consideration.
The ranchers say there should be a third party reviewing these inconclusive livestock investigations. CPW's director told us that's not something they plan to do. As Colorado sweats out this heat, firefighters in the western part of the state are working a couple of wildfires. The Elk Fire has burned about 3,000 acres 10 miles east of Meeker. It's on state land, private land, and BLM land. There are some evacuations in that area, and the BLM says the fire has burned one house and 4 outbuildings. Rough terrain, wind, and dry conditions are making that firefight tougher. Adams County Fire has sent up a crew to help. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, plenty warm around the metro area this week. Is it a heat wave? Is it just hot? Is there a difference?
So Kyle, transparently just came up with my own definition of what a heat wave is.
Oh, get it.
Let's get into it. So let's get nerdy on it. So what is a Denver heat wave? There's no tangible definition from the Weather Service, so I took the liberty of creating it myself. I'm going to say it's 3 days at or above 95 degrees for us here in Denver. We get about 16 days at or above 95 per year in Denver, 46 days at or above 90. So you get 3 consecutive days at or above 95. That, to me, get that once or twice per year. That meets the definition for a Denver heat wave, and we got that today with a high temperature of 97 for us here in Denver, 99 in Greeley. Cooler on the eastern plains, and reason being, we've got some stronger showers and storms out here across the eastern plains right now, including a couple of storms that are approaching the I-70 corridor. Folks, if you know anybody on I-70 in Kit Carson County, tell them to stay off of it right now. We got baseball-sized hail approaching Flagler and Araba, as well as west towards Genoa. This storm, again, notice that track of that? That is indicating the potential for baseball-sized hail here in this white shading and that little spinny thing. Again, I-70 around Araba, I would avoid that right now. Here in Denver, though, we stay dry tonight. We stay hot and dry. all week long. It's a scorcher. It's hot and dry today, hot and dry tomorrow, hot and dry on Wednesday, hot and dry Thursday. Then you guessed it, Kyle, hot and dry on Friday before we finally cool down this weekend.
We're down here every day. Her favorite thing is the swing.
Most neighborhoods will say that they're welcoming to everyone. This new community in Dougco is doing it. Hey, a reminder, you can catch Next streaming each weeknight 6 p.m. on 9 News Plus. And if you prefer to listen to the program and never have to look at my face again, we're also a podcast. Playgrounds are natural memory makers when kids can participate in the fun and also the memories made when they're left out. The new Sterling Ranch community in Douglas County is trying to make more memories for more people with a space built for all.
There aren't even words to describe how important this playground is to my family and to other families like mine. Jeanette Reynolds, Miles from Madison, Executive Director. This playground is the first all-inclusive playground in Sterling Ranch. It was designed and built kind of inspired by my daughter, Madison Reynolds, who passed away in 2018. Madison was born with lissencephaly. She didn't have any gyri in her brain, so she never developed past a 4-month-old level. When she was growing up, there wasn't a community playground that we could walk to or get to very easily. So when we moved into this community, we made it a focus to kind of get inclusive playgrounds built in our communities.
Caitlin was born with a rare genetic mutation called Aicardi syndrome. So she has intellectual disabilities. Oh my gosh, Caitlin loves it. We're down here every day. Her favorite thing is the swing.
We wanted to create a park that was inclusive to all of our residents, young, old, and people of all sorts of abilities and disabilities. My name is Heather Calmy, and I am the Senior Director of Builder and Community Standards at Sterling Ranch. Our surfacing was a really important decision. We did a pour it in place, which means that it's safe for everybody to walk on. Visually, we tried to put different colors and textures on the surfacing so that even people who have some visual impairments don't trip or stumble.
We have the zip line that all kids can use, whether they're in a wheelchair or not in a wheelchair. The slides all have ramps to them. We have tons of slides that are wide. I just hope all these kiddos can grow together and learn together and treat each other with respect and dignity and include. I hope she would be very proud of what we've done in her name.
My best hope is that everybody can enjoy it and use it to the fullest ability. I've already seen that, so it's working. It's great.
What a wonderful tribute. What a wonderful asset for that community. Back with your feedback that is a little in my face today. Next. Feedback from Rosalind. She says, hey, Kyle, why do you take so much time off? You moonlighting somewhere? It would be kind of funny, Rosalind, if I took a week off and went and did the news in Saskatoon. That's where I got the sun. But no, to quote the great Jim Rome, I take a lot of vacation because I get a lot of vacation. And to be honest, I used to be bad about taking my vacation days. Now that I have a family, I'm trying to get better about that. Feedback on my face. Renee says, rocking the beard. Kevin and Greeley, rocking the vacation beard. He says you should keep it. Looks manly. I assume he knows what manly is. He's a man. Russ says, love the beard. Stay strong. Keep it as long as you can. But Jim says, shave it. It is not a good look. And finally, Ryan, you're starting to look a little gray. Are you getting old? I am. It beats the alternative, though. See you next time.